We are live. All right.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Angie here. Natalie
Yin and yang.
here.
Angie's super hot and I'm cold.
Yes, that is the experience happening right now. And I just put peppermint oil on my head, and because I've been sweating, it's quite strong right now. All right. So Julie will be joining us, I believe. So when she gets here, she gets here. But hello, everyone. If you're catching us live or if you're catching us on the replay, just want to say hello. I'm Angie. I am the creator of this space, the creator of this group, and one of the things I'm super passionate about is having conscious conversations with people so that we can unpack all this stuff we're learning. Like as we're all sort of at some point in our journey evolving, right? We're all awakening to different truths than maybe we've ever known. And now we are, we're also parents. Hi, Julie. Um, we're also parents and we're parenting. And so it helps to have a village talk about these things on how does this change parenting, all these things that we're awakening to, all these new pieces of knowledge that maybe we didn't know or maybe we've just intuitively remembered, right? How does this apply now as parents? And even if you're not a parent, you are welcome into this conversation because we have all been parented, right? There has been somebody who has been part of bringing us into this world and teaching us and guiding us on how we live in this world. And sometimes that's not the healthiest thing. We haven't all learned healthy things, right? And anyway, so that's how this was born. And yeah, this is just something I love to bring to everyone. And Julie just recently joined us, and the more the merrier. When you guys share your wisdom and your insights, we all expand and we all learn. So I'll let Natalie introduce herself to you guys, and then Julie.
Yes, hi. And just a quick side note, even before I intro myself, because when you were saying, Angie, how we've all been parented, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just to add to that, even if you're not a parent per se, you are parenting someone,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Whether that's a coworker, an employee, maybe even a grandparent. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone younger than you,
And
right?
even ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. So, food for thought. So, anyways, my name is Natalie. I have two kids of my own, and we're a homeschool family. And I'm actually very soon will be launching my homeschool revolution guidebook on Amazon, and I'm really excited about that. So, like by the end of the month, maybe. So yeah, so I just help parents um, with homeschooling, kind of, all the bumps and unexpected turns that homeschooling takes. So I help parents through that, and that's me.
Amazing. Thank you. That's exciting. Congratulations to you.
Thank
That's
you.
That
really
is super
exciting.
exciting.
All right, Julie.
Okay, well, I'm Julie, and I am a mom of two amazing boys. And I've wanted to be a parent my whole life, and now I'm doing it. And as you were speaking about parenting, it made me think of the fact that everything I've done to grow, excuse that, everything I've done to grow and love myself more has been because I am a parent. And I'm so grateful for that because it has brought me to a place of internal peace that I didn't know was possible. Yeah, so that's me.
Yeah, awesome.
And I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. I love these conscious conversations, and you're both so right. If we're not parenting someone, we're parenting ourselves. We have been parented. These conversations are absolutely for everybody.
Yeah, they are. They really are for everybody.
They relate to our everyday life as well, right? Not just parenting. So much that we learn through parenting. I mean, our children are our reflections. So much we're learning, we're just learning about ourselves. So it's very relevant.
Absolutely. And today's conversation, so I had brought in this topic because I've been really, it's been coming very much in my consciousness, my language, and how it is limiting me. And when we think about our language, our words matter to our children, right? They're taking our words very seriously, right? They attach to them. And so I started thinking about like that. I started thinking about what kind of language am I using that is teaching my children limitation versus unlimited possibility as we move into this more multidimensional nature, as we move into higher consciousness, right? Higher understandings. We understand, and quantum understandings, we understand that there's unlimited possibility, actually, right? And so, how do we parent that? How do we model that, right? I mean, obviously, we model it in our being, but I'm starting to notice very much my language, like little things in my language that are teaching my children limitation.
I
And
absolutely
so,
love that. Yeah, that is
and then
so
how do
true.
we counter that? How do we count? Like, it's human. I was telling Natalie this before we came in live, like, it's very human. We're not saying this to beat ourselves up, right? To notice that. It's just, okay, now you have conscious choice. You're aware that you might be speaking limitation, but now you have conscious choice to speak unlimited possibility. And how do we do that? I don't know the answer. I'm just
Something it's bringing up for me is because it's been relevant in my life, the constant corrections, saying like, oh, or guidance, like, do this or do that. It's time to do this, or, this needs to be done this way. That's so limiting. And we're just focusing on, the to-dos and what we don't seem to be doing perfectly, so to speak. Like, it's guiding to, this needs to be done this specific way. And as opposed to doing that, being just loving and reminding them of all the wonderful things they're doing. And then that's where our focus goes, so that's something that I've been reminding myself and my family, because I feel like it's that feeling of control, trying to control things, right? Our mirrors, because I haven't felt as in control within. So yeah, absolutely. I've been consciously choosing to say more loving, grateful things and remind them how proud I am of them. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's so much more expansive. If you think of the two, if someone comes to you and says, oh, I'm proud of you, that was a great job. How does that make our being feel? It expands, it brings more light and more love into our being. And that's what we're trying to do as, these light beings. We're bringing more light and more love in. And if someone comes to you and says, oh, well, you should have done this way, or maybe you could have done it that way, that's very contracting. Right? You're kind of like shrinking back, like, oh, maybe I didn't do so good. Yeah. So that's what it's bringing up for me anyway.
Yeah. And the switch I've been making is around what you're saying is trying to lead with that expansive thing. And then what I have found, so in that journey of leading with the expansive thing, even if I have a criticism that comes up, right? I just literally reach for the expansive thing. And often what I'm finding is I don't feel the need to say the critical thing anymore.
Yes, I absolutely resonate with that. That is my experience as well. Yeah. Because I have been consciously flipping that too. So I've had the exact same experience that I notice I don't even necessarily need to say something, or it kind of automatically gets done. It just shows
because you led with the expansion.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it shows the difference of, expansion versus, contraction. Like, there's such different experiences. And if we can be aware of our words and how we are limited by our words, or we could become more expansive with our words. And this is not a way we've been parented. So these are such important conversations because we're all learning, like, it's all new. Yeah. And the more we share, the more we expand and learn and grow.
Yeah. I agree. What do you think, Natalie?
Yeah, I love what you guys shared. I was actually going to go a completely different route, but you bring up such a great point of again, I love that example of expansion, right, Julie? Like, you just feel so much better when someone's like, thank you so much for cleaning up the kitchen, or like, oh, this meal was so delicious, or like, you did such a great job, like biking up and down that, that trail or something. I don't know, whatever it is, right? And then you are slowly, not only are you teaching your children, but you're teaching yourself too, to cut back on criticism and add more, compliments or positivity, or expansion, however we want to name that. And again, it's a habit, right? We're replacing one thing with another. And it's just having that realistic expectation of, hey, we're human. At first, that criticism is still wired in, like at the first, first thing. And just being aware of that and knowing that it's okay, because you notice it, right? And it's like, okay, like what's one thing that I can change to say differently, right? That would be maybe a little bit kinder. So I really love that. And,
right, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
And that's our conscious choice, and that's our personal power. Exactly, right there. It's one conscious thought at a time. As you were saying, like those ruts in our brain will want to bring us to the automatic response, but we have a conscious choice to change that, and that's how we are such powerful beings. Mm-hmm. That is how we create our reality, right there.
Yeah. And great segue to what I was going to say next, Julie, about being a creator. We have to be very aware, like, of how, because our words are really powerful, right? Which is obviously what this conversation is based on. And, so often are you catching yourself, or like, how often do you say, oh, I can't do this, or I want that, which is, again, more that victimhood, like that need, right? Like, because how often do you hear your kids say, I want this, or I want that? But how often do you say it, right? Instead of saying, oh, wouldn't it be nice to, I don't know, go on a vacation this summer? Or wouldn't it be nice to, I don't know, have a machine that folds your laundry for you? I don't know.
That's expansive.
But just those different, again, you can be saying the same thing, just, especially with like the I can't, right? Like, I'm very aware of what I'm saying, especially when it comes to like I am statements and everything, because it does have power, right? And even when we're talking about someone else, or talking to someone else, our words still have power. So like, kind of, what's your intention behind your conversation, right?
Intentions,
especially when we're going into maybe, it doesn't have to be really like a heavy conversation, but maybe, your kid did something and you want to talk to them about a certain situation that maybe should have had a better outcome. But what's your intention going into it, right? Or maybe even asking a simple question like, what's for dinner? Or like, you're asking like, what would you like for dinner? Or, or maybe you guys meal prep during the week and you're trying to figure out your grocery list. Well, what's your intention? Because if your intention is, okay, again, openness and, coming together, figuring out a plan as a family, figuring out, I don't know, again, going with the meal thing, what's one dish that everyone would like to have, instead of the intention or kind of that mindset of like, oh, fuck, we got to like meal plan again. Or, oh, I hope they're not asking for shepherd's pie again, because like they always fucking ask for shepherd's pie.
Right.
Like,
you're bringing that energy. Yeah, you're bringing that energy to it.
Yeah, that energy, that intention, because there's so much energy behind our words. So what do you guys think about that?
And the intention is absolutely everything. I completely agree. And it comes down to us being energetic beings as well, because whoever we're speaking to is feeling that intention behind it, whether they're conscious of it or not, right? And we are also feeling it, and we're also getting it reflected back to us. So, I mean, if we want to live in a loving, peaceful life, our intentions behind everything need to be loving and peaceful. And if they're not, it's going to be quickly mirrored back to us. Right?
And it is quickly mirrored back to us, like instantly.
Instant. Yeah.
Instantly. They're in
we
their
are the creators
in their reaction, right? And this is the thing with children, is like, not only are the children attached to the words you say, right? They're also feeling the energy, but they can't interpret it. They don't maybe understand it, right? but they're feeling it. And that's important to remember, that we're energetic beings. And therefore, we have a responsibility for the energy we output too. Not only do we have a responsibility for the words that we use, right? Like I'm going to give an example. Even just before I got on this call, I was making dinner, and I had told the girls to stay out of the kitchen. I was in a bit of a mood when we got back from groceries, and I was hot. And so I asked them, I said, look, mommy wants to cook, and I just don't want you to come in here. You know, I need the space right now to focus so that I'll be ready for the call, which happened. It was fine, right? But Alice did come in at one point, and she's trying to do things, and I was starting to get annoyed. But then she asked if she could help with something. And at first, the instinct was, I don't have time for this. Like, you're going to take so long. It's going to, you know what I mean? And then I was like, you know what? No, it's fine. And I was like, yeah, you can do this. I got her to zest lime, right? And then she started playing with the brown sugar. And what happened in the end was, I could have very well said, I asked you not to come in here, when she went to do a second thing. And instead, she had done it all, and she had done the lime zest, and I went to throw it into the dish. And then I looked at her and I said, thank you for your help. And she was like, oh, you're welcome. And then she left the thing she was doing and then left and was happy. That's expensive for her. She could have walked away from it.
Absolutely, for both of you.
Yeah, for both of us, yeah. And that's exactly it. I came on the call. I was a little flustered, but I was in a good mood. You know what I mean? Like, I was feeling good. And this is we are the creator of our experiences. I could have changed that experience completely for myself and come into this call completely annoyed.
I love that. It, again, just speaks to how powerful we are, and that we have conscious choice. We have the choice. Once we're conscious of something, we can create what we desire, or we can create what we don't desire. Often we do that unconsciously. And
then we can learn from it.
Exactly.
So even when we unconsciously choose something, it's okay. It's still right.
Yeah. No judgment.
Still right.
Yes.
It's still
there's
right.
no judgment. There's just learning. So it's just a learning experience. And, maybe we enjoy having that time alone. And maybe we say, you know what, I did ask you not to come in here. And we have that. There's no judgment there either. But it depends on the intention behind it, and if it is expansive or not to you in that moment, and you chose an expansive version of that reality. And and it could be different the next time. And, the next time having that space may be more expansive to you in that moment. Maybe you need it.
Yes, and that's okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're right about like what Natalie's saying about bringing the intention, right? Yes. The intention will be felt. It'll be different. Maybe the next time I do want that space, and I don't have to approach it in a low energetic way.
In a judgmental way, yeah. A lot of the time it becomes judgmental of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
That we should be doing this or should be doing that. It's never, it all comes down to the energetic feeling and intention behind it again. Yeah. And that's where we need to look. And when we do look there, we come in such flow, and it just seems like everything unfolds before us in our best interest. It's just a beautiful dance of co-creation with life, and it just feels so wonderful. And when we're not there, we learn from it, and then we get back there.
One of the things I like to do with the girls, when I try to be quite conscious about teaching them unlimited possibility, right? And so some of the ways I was doing it before I even was conscious about it, it was telling them that there is always a solution to every problem. And that encourages them, you know what I mean? There's more than one solution to a problem. There's all kinds of different ways. And one of the things I teach them is, there's unlimited solutions. Some of them you might not like, but let's focus on the fact that, oh, look, this is an option. And so when Leah is doing something, I might say like, oh, how did you feel about that choice? because you could have done this too. That's something I'll tell her. Like, you could have done this too, and how do you think that would have ended up? And so that's been
that is so
interesting.
expansive.
It's led to some interesting observations that she shares with me. Oh, you're right, Mom. I could have done this, but then I wouldn't have this. And it's like, yeah, that's right. But I like to highlight that there was another option.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
I
that's something
absolutely
I've been
love
doing.
that. Oh, that's so expansive and beautiful. I love that experience that you have. It's just so expansive. It's unlimited options. You're correct. That's it's just beautiful.
And Leah is very joyful, like, so she's very enthusiastic about it. Yeah. And sometimes she'll even be like, yeah, and I could have done this. Yeah, you could have. Are you happy with the choice you made? Yeah. Are you happy with the choice you made?
Options.
And she's often like, yeah, I like the choice I made. It's like, yeah.
That is so powerful that you're teaching her that, because she's at such a young age. Is she? Because I don't even think she's 4 yet. Is she?
She's 4 now. Yeah.
Oh, she's 4 now. Yeah. But that is such like wow. Talk about building blocks, right?
Yeah.
Because so often it's like, there's only one choice or maybe 2, right? And they're both like right and wrong.
Yes.
but there's limitless possibilities. But you can only see the options of where you're at right now.
Yes.
Right. And then as we keep spiraling up in frequency and vibrations, there's just more and more options that we see. So again, like Julie mentioned earlier, there's no right or wrong. It's just where were you at vibrationally in that moment? Mm-hmm. Right. That's all there is. So that's why, like, there's often spiritual teachings of, there's actually no need for forgiveness, because whatever you did at that time wasn't wrong. It was only, that's what you did in that moment because of where you were vibrationally, right?
Yeah, forgiveness literally only exists because we judge.
Yeah,
right. And I always like to say, I believe everyone does the best they can with what they have in the present moment. Absolutely. There's no judgment. Yeah. Like, we're all trying to do the best, and that's, I see a lot of judgment around me. I'm not a very judgmental person. And as soon as I start becoming judgmental, it's of myself. And then I will notice I become judgmental of others, like, or, trying to control things. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Clearly I am judging myself in these moments. So I have to go within and be like, okay, what's going on here? And
something sneaked in, right? And it's like, whoa, what is that?
Whoa.
And something I've been thinking of is, it sneaks in bit by bit when we're not completely aligned with our soul's truth, our values and our morals, and our healthy boundaries. So when we might just be like, okay, well, this is not too bad, I'll just do this because, and eventually they add up. They start draining our energy and they add up. And that's what I noticed, I think, was happening to me with why my energy was being drained so much, because I'd made little compromises, here and there and I mean, and they're just tiny little things. And often, it would be just living by expectations, being like, you know what, I feel like I need to be doing this, or I should be doing this. So, I feel like I just kind of went off there on a little tangent.
No, but you bring up a good point, though, like with expectations and everything. I mean, as people, and especially as parents, we give meaning to everything.
Yeah.
When in actuality, there's no meaning at all. It's just whatever the scene is unfolding in front of you, right? But we like to put like little sticky notes on everything and be like, good, bad, I got to do this.
Label, yes.
Yeah.
I think about this topic too when we talk about limitations. If you think about how we were parented, right? And it's like, forget trying to be an artist or something, or wanting to be the thing we actually wanted to be, right? When we were young, whether that's, I want to be a horse. I want to be, do you know what I mean? Like Alice, that was the first thing she told me she wanted to be, was she wanted to be a horse. And it's like, imagine how our parents would, what they would say to us, right? And it's like, what would I say so that I'm not just shutting down her dream, which seems totally possible to her because they're in tune, they're attuned, right?
Yeah.
To the infinite. And so it's totally
Right.
possible to her. But what would our parents do? Well, that's ridiculous. You can't be a horse. A seed is
Right,
planted
and
right
it makes
there.
me
A
think,
limitation.
That
what would
immediate
we do?
shutdown, right? And that's how we were raised.
That's how we
Like,
were
nope,
raised.
this doesn't fall in like my safe little box. So no.
So I told
So-
her, I said, sorry, Julie, I'm just going to finish
No,
off
go
this
ahead.
thought.
Mhm.
Like I said to her, I said, oh, you want to be a horse? I'm like, that's interesting. And I was like, I can't see how you could be a horse, but what do I know? Maybe you could. That's what I
Oh,
said.
I love that. That's
You know?
perfect. And it just reminds me of, being expansive. We can just ask questions. Just ask questions about that. Ooh, what would your
Maybe I'll
favorite
be a
part
horse.
about being a horse? What would be the first thing you'd want to do
Oh,
to be a
that's really-
horse? And allow them to explore that. And something I was
That's
thinking
powerful.
earlier, we're only as powerful as our imagination, right? Our imagination is our creator. So when you were talking about you and Leah and all the different options, like there's unlimited possibilities, you're giving her that beautiful gift of realizing, she has so many options. She's the creator of her reality through her imagination. So you're giving her that opportunity to start thinking, oh, there could be this or there could be that. It's just
Exactly.
such a beautiful gift and experience that
Yeah,
you've given
yeah.
her. I love that.
That gift
we don't-
of it could be anything. There could be anything, right? Of course, it could be a horse. Like, what would that look like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, where would you live? Like, what kind of horse? Like a little horse, like a mini horse, or like one of those huge ones? Like
I love
And how would
that
it
question.
feel?
The asking questions, that's so expansive. That's a beautiful,
Yeah.
like what a powerful tool, like for us to have, right? Like if they say something to you and the instinct is to shut it down, why not ask questions?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to hurt anyone. In this moment, you're just unpacking the imagination.
Yeah,
That's
which
a
is so
beautiful thing.
powerful. Like,
Oh,
so
so
freaking
good.
powerful, guys. Like,
So good.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
I love
Wow.
that.
Yeah, that's such a great point about limitations of, as children, we were limited in our imagination, right? And well, like even now, right? Like children are so limited in their imagination because they're made to like fit in this little box, and while you're in this box, watch this box that you hold. Like, watch this
I was
device,
just
or
going to say,
it's just like ad
our-
nauseum, like
yeah.
just like stupid retarded crap. And it's like, first of all, it's just stupid retarded crap, and second of all, it doesn't feed the imagination at all, because it's the same redundant things that we depend on, a little thing to watch, instead of, again, asking ourselves questions like the horse. Maybe the horse flies, right?
Yes.
Maybe I got purple streaks like in my tail or in my mane, right? Like, like, also maybe it's a totally different kind of horse that this planet's never seen. So like, this is a gift that we can offer our kids, guys. And that goes again, that like moves away from limitations.
Yes.
Of expansion, of like anything's possible.
Like be willing to play with it. I love what you said.
Yeah,
like maybe your horse has purple streaks. Well, then if it does, maybe you can give your child purple streaks in their hair. Like that makes them feel closer to this horse,
Totally.
Because even though they're telling you they want to be a horse, that's just their limited words that they have to express it. But there's actually a feeling thereafter.
Yeah.
Right? This is what we learn as we awaken. It's actually feelings we're after. That's why we drink all the alcohol. That's why we, eat all the food. Like it's a feeling we're after. And so asking questions, like, God, that's so powerful. I love that you said that.
Yeah, yeah. And how would it feel, right? Like maybe they're like, I want to run really fast. Okay, like how would that feel, right? And like incorporate that into like play, like have races, But imagine you're a horse. Like, whoa, that would be so powerful, right?
Yes. Tell them they're a horse. Yeah. Imagine you're a horse when you're running. And like guys, like we're so literal, right? We're so like that is the density. The density is we're so literal. And so it's like your kid says to you they want to be a horse, and you're like, you can't be a horse. Like that's so stupid. Do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer? Like
Yeah.
I think of my
Basically,
friends.
that would be like a benefit to society, right?
Yeah. And I think of my friend. My friend was talking about how her son wants to be a YouTuber. And in her eyes, she shut that down real fast. And she was like, well, that's just not reality. And that's what she said. And I was like, oh, it hurt me when she said that. I was like, oh, no, it could be reality, though. Could be, right? And that's okay. That's that people are where they're at, right?
Yeah.
But something to think about going forward. Like whatever they say, ask your child what they want to be and see how you can play with it. See how you can ask questions, see how you can incorporate some elements of what they want.
Yeah. And maybe change the wording a little too. Like what's coming in is, instead of being like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to be when you're older? Be like, what would you like to be today?
Oh.
What would you like to be today? Or where would you like to be right now? Right.
And that's so much more valuable and important than where we're going to be in the future anyway, right?
Yeah.
We're creating our
future
future now
exist,
in our
man.
reality.
What about right now, right?
So like Angie had said, if you want to be that horse and the horse has purple streaks, and today let's put purple streaks in our hair, that's creating that reality right now.
Right now.
And you also just reminded me, I often, with my boys, I guess I'm just thinking of this now, how I've been more expansive in my conversation with them about what they want to be. I've always reminded them they don't necessarily have to be one thing. And usually people are not one thing, so it's not like I have my goals and visions set right here and that's where I'm going to go. And some people do that, and that's amazing. But a lot of people have a lot of different experiences over a lifetime. So ever since they were saying what they wanted to be, they'd have a whole handful list of what they wanted to be. It was never one thing. Stephen always had at least 3 or 4 different things, and some of them have stuck over the years and some of them have changed. And unlimited possibilities. You can be whatever or as many things as you want to be.
Yeah.
Sure. In the moment. Like unlimited possibility just means that there's unlimited possibility. It doesn't mean you have to choose all of them. It just means there's unlimited possibility. And in this moment, you can choose, your children can choose what they want in that moment. And live the experience of what that is to them in that moment. And that's how we create in this moment. So if you keep creating more of what you want in the moment, like imagine what's possible. Imagine what you were talking about, Julie, like your children can have multiple things, and that's very true about all humans, right? They have multiple things that they want, and in this moment they want this, and in the next moment they want this. And imagine that we're building the imagination as they go, and imagine what's possible when they're older, like they're going up that spiral you were talking about, Natalie, right? And they have more options available to them. Man.
Wow. Yeah. And it's not even just the idea of putting it in your kid's head that you can be all sorts of different things, but it's also just like those neurological pathways that are built, kind of like that muscle memory of kind of like an exercise, right? Like if you're doing curls, you're working out your biceps. But if you're constantly thinking, or if you grew up in a house that's like unlimited possibilities, like there's always options, you can build options on options, well, that just builds your imagination muscle, right? But as you're moving up and up that spiral, you just know, like there's just this knowing, right? And that experience.
Yeah Imagine if we knew every moment that there was unlimited possibility. Like we have the gift of giving more of that experience to our children.
And it's not, again, and like you mentioned, it's not necessarily taking action on all of these options. It's just knowing that they're there. And that's also part of like knowing that you don't have to take action on any of them, really. Like, what do you feel like in this moment? And that is essentially what letting go is, right? Being like, I have all these options, as many stars as there is in the sky. And you know what I choose right now? Just to choose to sit in this chair and just do nothing, and that's totally fine, right?
And I can change my mind,
else, right?
And I can change my mind.
To give yourself permission, right?
This is one thing when we limit, like when our parents limited us, right? they limited us like in so many levels, so many layers too, right?
Yeah.
It's like not only limited us in career choice, but they also limited us in being able to change our mind, or like, you know what I mean? Like it told a
Yeah.
story that you can't change your mind either.
This actually
Yeah.
brings up for me more high school, and something that Steven said the other day was the whole poser. You were a poser if you were suddenly this way or that way, or
Yes. Oh my God.
so much judgment around these boxes that we're supposed to fit in.
That programming.
Yeah, I didn't fit in many boxes very much, so I don't feel like my parents limited me that way, or if they did, I just didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
But at school, I remember hearing other people talk about, oh, look at that person, that's a poser. And Stephen just brought that to my attention again the other day, something at school. And we had that conversation about, people can change their minds and they can feel different each and every day. When we get up and we get dressed or do whatever, we should be doing that from feeling and intention of love and what feels good in the present moment. Not out of some box that we should be fitting into. And that could change every day. Like my outfits change pretty dramatically depending on what my internal environment is doing.
Right.
Because it creates a different energy as well within us. So yeah. And
yeah, we project our limitations. And we project our limitations on everyone. I think about my husband, and he projects things onto people, like old versions of people. I was just having this conversation today or yesterday, I can't remember, but it was today. How we project versions of people on them, like thinking they can't change. You know what I mean? Like, so Kyle's holding this grudge about this thing this person did 10 years ago. And I'm just like, you're seriously still even thinking about that? Like, look at how much you've changed in 10 years.
Yeah.
Is it not possible that this person has changed in 10 years?
Yeah. Because then you're keeping that mask, that veil on that other person. And you're just limiting yourself. You're not limiting them. That's why I am super careful with what I say or my expectations or assumptions with people, because this has happened a lot in the last year, because it's just, anyways, Angie knows like all the like the kind of like leaps and bounds I've done this year. But sometimes I'll be like,
I didn't know I could do this. Sorry, guys. I just like, somebody
so
commented.
Cool.
I don't know who you are, but boy, do we ever. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Project.
Like, again, the assumption of, I don't know, like I'll ask my husband like a question about something that happened before, and he's like, what? And then it's like he had forgotten, or that reality didn't exist to him, right? Anymore. But then because I asked that question, I brought that back up, and then it puts him like kind of like in a funk or whatever. Like it brings his vibration down. It brings my vibration down. Then I'm like, God damn it, I shouldn't have said anything. Right. But then you learn, right? You learn. Like I hold my tongue so much now of like, I am not assuming anything, because especially like, when you wake up in the morning, it's like, like what universe did I wake up in? Right. Yes. But even in every moment, it's like, because our reality is based on how we feel right now and like how we felt in the past. So we should never assume how, our partners are, we should never assume anything about our partners, and even about our kids, right? Of, like, I don't know, if they're struggling to ride a bike. Well, don't have a conversation as if they're struggling to ride a bike. Be like, let's go find a new trail, or let's go try out, let's go down the other direction in the bike path, right? Like, let's go find a new playground or something. And then that also limits the limitation of, you know what I mean?
I think it's Jordan. Is it Jordan? Am I right? I have a lot.
Hello, neighbor from out west.
Far west.
far west.
Something you reminded me of. Oh, sure is. Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
Was with limitations and saying, people can change every moment. Like I often think about someone who I haven't seen in a long time, and then I'll think, I wonder what I was like back then.
Yes.
Because I'm
Because we
constantly
were different
changing.
people
We
with
all
that.
are. Yeah. But it's beautiful when we have these connections with people and, we get back together and it's like nothing has ever changed, but so much has changed at the same time, those heart-filled soul connections. But yeah, I'll have that thought. I'll be like, oh, and then I'll start to think about what I was like back then. And I think, wow, I've come a long way. Like I've really changed quite a bit since then. And sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for that as well. Right?
Yeah.
We've done a lot of growth and
that's the opportunity when we meet up with somebody too. That is an opportunity. If we meet up with somebody and the dynamic is different and it's strange and we can make meaning out of that, right? We can make meaning that it means something about us or we can judge it or we can do all these things, right? There's unlimited possibility, right, of choice. And we could do all that, or we could also take it as an opportunity to see how far we've come. Because there was a time that we resonated with this. Right. And now we don't. And instead of judging a person, how about loving? Oh, wow, thank you for showing me that. Right? Thank the person for being that mirror for you in that moment. And thank yourself for doing the work that you did to change to get here. Gosh, imagine if we did that more often. I got to get back to work, she says, breaks over. But thanks for the 15 minutes. Bye, Jordan.
Thanks for joining us.
Another thing I was thinking about limitation, guys, that I really wanted to unpack a little bit was money, how we talk about money to kids and how we, because I definitely know that that's what's been really coming into my consciousness and how I say things to them and how I say things when they want all the things because they do want all the things.
Or even what they say in passing, because kids are parrots. FYI, if you did not know this, kids will repeat every single thing they hear. Every single. I cannot even like highlighting every word, every single. And a great example was the other day, my 11-year-old, I was folding laundry in the bedroom, and she was saying something about like gas prices nowadays or whatever, and I'm like. And then she's like, don't you think like, and I'm like, actually, I am super blessed that we have all these gas stations around, that we actually have gas, that I have a car that I can fill up. Right. And then that kind of like, and I didn't really say it in a, in like this intense kind of way. I leave that for you ladies. But But just things like that, right? Like, how are you limiting yourself, right? And what are you saying in passing? Like when you're driving down the road, are you looking at the marquee that's lit up, with the gas prices? Or are you just shifting your eyes like literally a millimeter and looking at the clouds or the sky or the trees, right? What do you choose to look at? Right. So that's a big thing.
There's other options.
And this isn't, this isn't going to change her speech or whatever, or the way she talks about things. It's not going to change her right away, but it plants the seed, and that's all we need to do. We're like farmers, guys. We're like farmers, just dropping little seeds.
Here's a seed. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But it's a really good thing that you bring up. And, when we have kids that, they want this or they want that whenever they're at the store. Well, and I don't know if this is right or whatever, but nothing is right or wrong. But what I do with my kids is I reward like kindness and good behavior and just the effort, right? So even if you like totally lost your shit, but it didn't last as long, right? You calmed yourself down just a little bit faster than last time, right? You didn't break down the door. You just like threw something at it, But that effort. So daily we'll have like little things like, they can put books on hold on the library and things like that. But then like every month, if they do like, again, it's just that effort that I witness, right? It doesn't matter if externally the behavior has changed that much, have I witnessed that effort, right? And often it's like that effort within, right? Because again, so within as without. But sometimes that's this thing, right? Just like, okay, like if there's been, for us, if there's been again, It's like little things for the day, like slightly bigger things for the week. And in the month, it's like, okay, like, yeah, you guys like rocked it. Let's go watch it. Let's go see a movie, right? Or let's go bowling, or let's go out for, dinner, or go out for ice cream, something like that, right? Where, and again, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but again, it kind of curtails that thing of, when you're at the grocery store and they're like, or you're at Walmart grocery shopping and they're like, oh, but I want this and this and this and all these toys. And it's like, well, that's not what we're doing right now. Right now, we're buying groceries, right? We'll see on Friday, or we'll see, next weekend. If we do get to have like a fun thing, like an extra treat, or, an extra little gift or something, do we get to spoil ourselves or whatever this month? Because, did we all kind of at least try and make an effort, right?
Make efforts, right.
I love that you brought up putting a book on hold at the library, because something I like to talk about with my boys is that it doesn't always have to be something we buy that can make us feel good as well. Like, we can do something else that will make us feel good, and it doesn't cost any money. I think this is such a whole huge topic. Another thing I discuss is that we have limited space. So rather than bringing it down to the money being spent, it's the amount of space we have in the house to hold items. And if we want to bring more items in, we need to release some items as well. I mean,
I speak about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like the toys, or like the busted toys and everything. Especially like if you go shopping at like the dollar store, it's like, and a week later, it's like pieces.
That used to be the bane of my existence. Every weekend, my husband would want to bring them to the dollar store, and I'm like, I can't pick up little broken.
For me, it's
in my yard anymore.
The McDonald's toys. For me, it kills me. The McDonald's toys, like, they like it for like 3 minutes, and then it's like garbage, and it kills me. But I speak about the space thing too. I learned that from you, Julie. Yeah, I speak about that. So I have said that when they wanted to buy something, instead of saying, because I'm trying to be very conscious of like, we can't afford it. I don't like to use those words, right? But I will say something like, okay, I see that you want that, but you know what? Let's go home then, and let's make space for that to come in.
Yeah. Because you can teach kids about energy, however old they are, whether they're 2 or they're 12. It may take a little bit more effort when they're 12, right? Especially when we're first starting off. But there's nothing wrong with saying, like, older toys, or toys or even things that are broken. I mean, that object holds energy, right? Do we want that energy? And maybe it's not even something broken, just something that's kind of been sitting around. Like, we have, I don't know if you saw Angie when you were over there, but when we were over here, but we have like, like the twisty slides. We have like 2 parts of that have just been sitting there for like 5 years. And I'm like, it is my intention that sometime in June, it'll be someone else's, right? And again, kids are like, no, I want that, right?
Yes.
Like, I want that, even if it's like literally there's like no place.
Even if they haven't touched
it's just
it.
like 2 giant yellow pieces of plastic. But I'm like, this energy's been sitting here. It gets old, it gets heavy, right? Like, kind of like, when you're sad or when you're angry, you just kind of like, like that heavy energy. Same thing with objects. But are we creating space for ourselves? And when we're creating space for ourselves by, let's say, putting it out the road so that someone can pick it up, we're creating space for us, for something new to come into our life. Yes. And then we're also giving this, slide to someone else because they made space for it in their life, right? So like, just different ways.
That's energy exchange, yes.
And because money is energy,
and that is money. Is energy. It's an exchange of energy, yes.
And that's what it was reminding me of with the money, the exchange of energy, like the flow in and out. Like it needs to be in a flow. But when it comes to, teaching our kids, and when it comes down to money, it's, there's like with everything, a balance. So we don't want to say we don't have money for that, but focus on where we want to direct our money to. So like, okay, we're directing our money here, here, and here. Do we want to shift it to make room for something else rather than being like,
remember,
we can't afford that?
remember, there's unlimited possibility too. This is what we're trying to teach them too. There's unlimited possibility. So yes, you want this, but there's also unlimited possibility. There might be other things that you want more than this. And we make
or there may be things
choices.
you want to release
Or
to
things
make
you
room
want to
for
release.
this. You know, it's like,
Leah
do you
has
want
actually
to get rid of the TV so that we can make room for this? I would love that.
Right, we could suggest those things. That might put perspective. Nope.
Yeah. Then they'll see the value.
Leah has been known, like, I use Leah as an example because Leah is the one, like, she really enthusiastically takes this stuff that I say, right? And so she has been known to say when we get something new, she'll be like, "Oh, we had space for that." Yeah, we did.
I love that. Oh,
I know.
Such an amazing little human she is.
Oh, she's an incredible little human.
And it's those things that make such a difference. Like, it makes such a difference, guys. Just changing our script, like changing our vocabulary just a little bit has such a big impact. Because not only are our kids going to parrot it back to us, but it's also going in their subconscious, and it's also reprogramming our subconscious of it's not that there's not enough money, it's am I choosing to have this, you know, this object or this I don't know, this event or whatever, this trip in my life right now? Does it resonate with me right now? Because if it doesn't, you can't force it, right? Or you can, but it's gonna bite you in the ass. Right? So like in this moment, like, what does it feel right? And if it doesn't feel right, you know, that's the universe telling you something.
Yeah.
This made me think of a couple things. One was, I wonder if Leah's going to make enough room for her birthday cake that she wants.
A nipple cake. Oh my God. She wants, oh my God. So Natalie this morning, okay, Leah does these wild things. We call them Leah-isms because like first thing in the morning, we'll be snuggling and she will often just say this random thing, like out of the blue, out of quiet, you know? And so this morning for 2 minutes, we've been up and we're just snuggling. And she says, it's the way she said it that kills me. So I need to like look at that.
Yeah, you got to find
how
it exactly.
She said it. She said, she's like, I'm snuggling her. And she goes, nobody told me there was nipple cake birthday parties. And I'm like, what? And I didn't even know what to say. I was like, what? And so two things are going through my mind. Like, how did she find that out? And she's 4. And so Leah has an obsession with nipples. I don't know what to tell you. She was
right, her bees.
She was like 15 months. B for nipple. Yeah, B for nipple. Yeah. So she loves nipples. And like Hedwig, the hamster, was on me yesterday, and he was in my here, like in my chest. She's like, "Oh, maybe he'll bite your nipple." I'm like, "Oh my God." So this is what she says to me this morning, that, you know, nobody told me that there are nipple birthday cake parties, right? And I was just like, oh my God. Like now she wants a nipple birthday cake party.
They do that for baby showers.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably so she probably saw a video. Yeah.
But sorry, so we got 5 minutes left, Angie.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
had to talk about that nipple cake. What we were talking, the other thing that it brought up for me was judging other people the way they spend their money. You know, that's very limiting. And I'll hear people talk about, oh, they can't afford this or they can't afford that, or why are they getting this or that? Like, that is none of our business, first of all. You know, where we direct our own money is our business and our purpose. But yeah, that's definitely very limiting and judgmental on ourselves as well, right? Because it's just the mirror reflecting. When we're judging someone else, we're judging ourselves.
We're judging ourselves.
So yeah, the way we talk about money with our children is huge, and can be very limiting. And, you know, I used to say that all the time, we can't afford this and that, but I've become much more conscious of my words, knowing that I'm the creator of my reality, and the words I choose are powerful and have a lot of weight behind them for my present moment and my future moments. So I love the way that you spoke about reframing those words, right, to what we do want. And we can focus on discussing where we direct our money, because it's a constant flow energy, like everything. And our choice is where we direct that money. So sometimes if it feels like there's a limitation on the amount of money, there are still unlimited options, and we are able to choose. We always have personal power. We always have choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do a whole talk just on that. But yeah, and I think it's so important. The language is so important. If anything, if there's anything you take away from here, I would say to anyone is to really just start to notice, observe, pay attention to the language you might use, and explore how it might model a limitation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And if
know,
that doesn't feel comfortable, you have a choice to change that.
Yeah. And then start to explore the other side of it. What would imply unlimited possibility in this moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes it's just as simple as I don't know. Sometimes I'll tell myself, I know there's more choices out there.
Yes.
I just don't know, and that's
know
okay
them
because
right now.
that is actually also a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's opening up, it's sending out to the universe as well, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
like
once
I
we're sending-
recognize that there's more
Yes.
choices out there.
I can't see them right now, but maybe you
Yeah.
could spiral me up a little and I'll see
Yeah,
more.
give me a boost.
I
think it's-
please.
Yeah, and it's is it the reticular activating system
Yes,
in our brain that we're, you know, once we're sending it out there and it's going to come into our reality. Yeah. So
Every time.
that's powerful too. Mm-hmm.
It is. It is. All right. So I guess, we have 3 minutes left. What are some last words you guys want to share with everyone?
I would just say, you know, just like you said, I love exactly what you said. If you're seeing limitations, you have a choice. It seems so simple, you know, simple, not easy, right? And it's just becoming aware, and that is part of this ascension journey, is becoming aware of ourselves from a third person point of view, a non-judgmental, loving third person as well, right?
Yeah. Because we don't necessarily have to fix anything, guys. The whole point is just to be aware of it. Be like, oh, when this comes up, you know, when career choices come up with my kids, I always feel this way. You're aware of it. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That is all you need to do. We overcomplicate things so freaking much. Just be aware of it. That's the whole point of this, like, human wacky roller coaster.
That's what ascension is.
It's awareness. Sorry, I just wanted to say, I wanted to say that it's moving into the feeling after that as well, because that's how we then discern, you know, what feels best to our soul.
Does it feel expansive? Does it feel contracting?
Right. Exactly.
And we can teach our children that. That's a really important skill we can share with our children. Does it feel, you know, often Alice says, I don't know, so I'm going to try that with her. Like, does it feel expansive or does it feel tight?
Like you're getting all crunched, or does it feel like, you know, you're like a cloud or whatever kind of example might feel right in that moment, right?
Yeah.
Does it feel hard or does it feel easy? You know,
our
soul, when our soul is leading us, it's just like this beautiful flow. And there's this effortless ease within it. And then when the challenge comes up, that's our learning experience, right? When it starts to feel more challenging, then we need to go within and discern again. Okay, why is this feeling more challenging now? And what conscious choice could I make to feel more expansive again? Again, simple, not easy.
True.
That's the
not always
journey.
Easy. I don't want to put that out there as not easy ever. No, that's not true. But not always easy. Not
it
always
gets easier.
And I was just gonna say,
because you get better and better at it.
Yeah. Exactly. It becomes easier and easier. Yeah.
And that's the message to other people, right? Is that if it feels hard, you're not doing it wrong. Like, just keep trying, keep bringing awareness. It gets easier because it does get easier. So if it feels hard, like it feels hard for us too, even though we know.
Exactly. Exactly. I've been going through 2 months of like
Yes.
loving
Hard,
myself
hard.
through challenge, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. What a great conversation. Thank you. God, I
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
so many
thank you,
great things
ladies.
I took away from it.
Yeah. Thank
So
you, ladies.
yeah. So
I look
anybody who's
forward to watching
watching
this
this,
again.
yeah, anyone who's watching it on the replay, like share with us. Share with us some of your thoughts around this and explorations. Even if you whatever, just share with us. This conversation lives forever.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. I love you guys so much.
Love
And
I love you too.
Thank
Enjoy your
you.
dinner and your friends.
thank you. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
excited. And yeah, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. We'll be talking about teens next Tuesday.
Yes.
Teens and big
Ooh.
emotions. Yeah. All right.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
love you
guys.
guys.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Love you. Thanks
Good
for
night.
watching.
Love you. Yeah, thank you.